Next up is defensive coordinator Ryan Walters. If you guys get your hands up in the queue, we'll get going here in just one sec. Looks like Eric Blum from the Columbia Daily Tribune's first. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Ryan, can you go back to when you were recruiting Josh Bledsoe? What stood out to you then, and how have you seen him kind of grow in his time at Mizzou?
He had a versatile tape. He was playing all over the place, quarterback, running back, punt returner, everywhere, every spot on defense. And you could tell he had good size. I think he was like 190, 195 coming out of high school. And his coaches just kept talking about his football IQ. And you couple that with his performance, his academic performance in the classroom, and, just everything kind of lined up to where, it felt like he'd be successful in a structured program, structured environment. Comes from a good family. He's got a good support system. Humble. He was a humble kid, not really, outwardly spoken, but very respectful. And, but if I'm being honest, I'll say that when he got to campus, he was more athletic than I thought he was going to be. I didn't know that he was as fast as he is. I didn't know that he had the cover skills that he has. It's hard to be that size and be able to cover in the slot the way he does. We give him a difficult task week in and week out, and he answers the bell. Looking back at the LSU game, I should have just had him play man-to-man on Marshall the whole game because, most of his explosive plays came in zone coverage or somebody else covering him.
Jack Silva from the Man-Eater. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but what can you say about Bledsoe's performance, not just on the last play, but kind of guarding Marshall, from the slot a lot of the game?
Yeah, just, he's gotten so much more detailed than a year ago, just in his pre-snap alignment and his depth and his footwork. He's really become a technician in the slot there, and he's a bigger guy. So if he gets his hands on you, typically slot receivers are smaller. Obviously, that was not the case against LSU when they put Marshall in there. But, just his ability to get hands on and be able to run with slot receivers, and he's covered a whole gamut of really good ones throughout his time here. But that's kind of what makes him special at that size to be able to do that.
Max Baker from Columbia, Missouri. Go ahead, Max.
Hey, Coach. Going back to that LSU game, I know after the review there was that you met with the team in the huddle, and for that fourth down stop, were you for those 4 plays, did you guys have like a set, designed in that huddle? Is that kind of the reason you guys didn't call timeout, or what did you sort of say in that huddle?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of take you through it, the whole deal. So after they caught the ball and got to the one, just going back and film study on this season and last year, and when they were in that scenario, offensively, if they were in 11 personnel, I kind of knew what set they'd be in, and if there were run plays, I knew what series of run plays that we would get. So. As long as they stayed in 11 personnel, I felt comfortable with the call that we had, and we just ran the same call 4 downs in a row because they didn't change personnel. The one new play that I saw was the third down play where Nick made a good play and batted the ball down. That was just him being a head seat player. They had picked Bledsoe on that one and had outflanked us to the flat. Luckily, we had Nick coming off the edge, and he was able to get his hands up and get his hands on the ball. And then the pass play, you figured, we'd have a sprint out or something to the quarterback's throwing hand. So we had people coming off the edge to try to force the issue. And he's an experienced player. He's guarding inside leverage, obviously, when you bring in the house. But, just feeling the rollout to his side, he put his foot in the ground and was able to get downhill. That was important. Was to get downhill down there to cut off that the horizontal relationship between the defender and the receiver, and he was able to get his hands on the ball. I thought he had a chance to intercept it after watching the tape, but glad he knocked it down, and that was kind of the sequence. So Drink and I were on the headset, and he asked if I wanted to take a timeout. After seeing the formation and everything, I was like, no, we're perfect. And with the clock running down, that forced them to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, if we would have took a timeout, that would have given them time to regroup and really get the play that they wanted to run in there. So kudos to Drink for having the feel of that as well, and allowing us to be comfortable with what we had called for 4 downs on the 1 yard line. That was a good exclamation point on that game, and I feel really happy for the kids, really happy for Coach Drink and his first victory here at Faroe. That's probably the biggest win I've had in my career here for sure.
Thank you.
Gabe Diarm and Power Mizzou, you're up next.
Yeah, Ryan, if we can kind of turn attention to this week, there's no secret to what Kentucky's going to do. Everybody knows what they want to do, and they still manage to do it. How? What makes them so good at it, even though you kind of know what's coming?
It's if they get up in games, it's hard to climb back, just because of the style of offense that they run and really the style of the defense they run. They complement each other well on both sides of the ball. They want to limit possessions in the game. I think last week they had like 50-some snaps, or the previous week had 50-some snaps. That's the kind of game they want to play. They'll get to the line quickly to force you to line up and show them what you're in, and then they'll sort of pause and get the correct play in and bleed the clock a little bit. Obviously, they want to run the ball. They got plenty of capable backs to do so. And the quarterback, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he's athletic and can get out on the edge and the perimeter. And so they force you to play with all 11, and they do a good job on the outside when they do have opportunities to go make plays. And so that's what's difficult is they make you be right all the way down the field if they get a drive started. And so we got to do a good job of getting turnovers. We haven't done a good job of that in the first 3 games. Trying to get the ball out, and it's got to be being physical in the run game because we're probably not going to have a whole lot of opportunities for interceptions in the air. This is not their MO. I got a ton of respect for Coach Grant. He does a great job of catering to his roster and changing up what he does year to year based on who he's got available. Obviously, you saw what they did last year with the quarterback getting hurt early, and so that's why it's difficult. Just because you've got to be right in your run fits because you got to play with all 11, and so if somebody's not right. You got a chance for an explosive play on the ground, and when you've got those type of plays, they can be catastrophic to your defensive plan.
Peter Ball from The Athletic. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, Ryan, I was wondering what specific things do you think you're kind of as a unit you have to do to have the success you had against LSU against the run rather than, I guess, what happened against Tennessee the week before?
Yeah, just being aggressive, and that's myself included. Just being aggressive in the play call, being aggressive on the field. Getting downhill, and being a good tackling team. I thought we did a much better job in the LSU game. Just getting ourselves prepared pre-snap. Lining up, eyes in the right spot, and not getting shaken by anything. And when we get to 3rd down, we got to get off the field. I thought that was one of the keys last week defensively was our success on 3rd down. So when you're not getting turnovers, you've got to get off the field on 3rd down. Otherwise, there's too many possessions, too much time for the offense. So that'll be the key this week is being aggressive, having all eyes and all things focused on the run game. And if they get a play, they get a play. It's got to move on to the next one and focus in and play that snap.
Mitch 40, Power Mizzou. Go ahead, Mitch.
Ryan, I know you all were a little bit shorthanded on the defensive line against LSU. Had to shuffle some guys around. A couple questions for you. One, do you expect Akil Byers back this week? And 2, did guys maybe surprise you with how they played in those roles? And could we see some more of that kind of moving forward?
Yeah, everybody surprised me just those guys played hard. And like I said, we gave up too many explosives last week, but nobody was shook, man. Even after they caught the ball and got to the one, in the huddle, everybody was fine. Coach, we got it. We won the game. I think the poise piece is what was the most surprising. Just because we haven't had that kind of poise in the past. It's a testament to the culture here and also the experience that we have up front, specifically on the D line and at a couple spots in the secondary. Guys being through those scenarios before and realizing what it takes to be successful on the next play. Those are things that surprise me. As far as Akil goes, he's back. He's practices tail off Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm excited that he's back in the lineup and ready to go.
Dave Banner from Post Dispatch. Go ahead, Dave.
Ryan, just the style this week, just how dramatic of a shift is it when you're used to games like LSU or Alabama where you're chasing receivers downfield 40 times a game? Is it a big adjustment to go back to this kind of style?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, especially for the guys out on the perimeter. They just they can't fall asleep out there. You know what I mean? If they do, then that's another explosive. You know what I mean? So they gotta be dialed in and to their assignments and play with great technique. But yeah, it's going to be a different game, and we've been preaching that, since we found out we were playing Kentucky. And to our guys' credit, they've had really good practices and are excited for the challenge. Obviously, their history playing this team, our seniors that have been here playing Kentucky. Everybody, it's not a secret. It's the elephant in the room. And so, our guys are excited to go play. It feels like it's been a long time since we played, especially coming off of the highs of the way that last game ended. So our guys are excited to go play.
Soichi Terada, Kansas City Star.
Hey Ryan, another D-line question for you. I guess what was it like just shuffling around everyone? And I see Trey's at that DN spot, which is I know it's kind of similar to the Bucs spot you said, but it's not all the same. I guess how much consideration do you just put into like specific guys at specific spots and everything?
I mean, you just evaluate the roster. Obviously, Coach Haley and I have had a lot of discussions about what gives us the best chance to be successful, and to those guys up front's credit, a lot of different guys have had to play different spots, and everybody's been done it with gratitude and selflessness. This is an unselfish team. And, Trey, the first conversation I had was like, man, look, I know you love playing Buck, but we probably got to put you at end. And that also has a chance to get you and Trajan on the field at the same time. And I feel like that gives us a good mix up front. And he was, Coach, I'll do whatever we got to do. And he has. His practices tail off. He played very well. And when him and Trajan are on the field, and we actually put them in a 4-down front and try to go get after the quarterback, they put pressure on those tackles. So, those guys, to their credit, have been flexible. You have to be flexible this year, in particular, and those guys have adapted very well.
Jack Sobel from the Man-Eater. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Coach. There seemed to be a lot of plays in the LSU game, especially in that first half, when the pass rush got pressure, but Brennan was able to extend the play just enough to find Marshall or Gilbert. Has finishing those plays been a point of emphasis for the pass rush this week?
Yeah, but it's not. To me, it's not on the pass rush. That's on the coverage aspect of it. We got to do a better job of giving them time. Those guys are getting back there pretty quick. And like I said, a couple of those plays, we got caught disguising too long. That's why they were able to get out and get behind us. And anytime you got a guy that's as talented or as fast as a Marshall, it don't take very long for him to get downfield and the quarterback to get the ball out. So, I didn't feel like it was on the guys up front at all. I thought it was on a couple of our secondary disguises and looks, trying to be too deceptive in terms of sacrificing the look to do your assignment. So we got that corrected, and hopefully we'll give those guys more time.
And looks like we'll finish up with Paul O'Brien from the Jeff City News. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, Ryan, I know an issue for you guys in the run game against Tennessee was just getting into the backfield and hitting the guy before he even got to the line of scrimmage. Whether you're facing man or zone blocking schemes, what can you do to get into the backfield and make some pressure and make that running back make a cut before he gets to the line?
Just changing it up, what you're doing up front. Even if your shell is the same, just change it up so that the offense line isn't comfortable in knowing exactly what you're going to do. So that was one of the things we did against LSU is, just kind of change up techniques and stunts and, call more pressures and on rundowns. I think that was the difference in the two games. And LSU didn't really, after the first couple series, they weren't really trying to run the ball that much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it, guys.